Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. Okay. So, Surendraji, would you like to repeat after me? Yeah. So we are doing the 15th verse, 1.15 in the document. Do you have it with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, student asking the question, Atma kaha?
Atma kaha?
Sthula sukshma?
Sthula sukshma?
Karana sharirat?
Karana sharirat?
Vyatiriktaha?
Vyatiriktaha?
Panchakoshatitas san?
Panchakoshatitan san.
Yeah, everybody can repeat. I mean, when I said Surendraji repeat, what I meant is on the microphone he can repeat, but it's meant for everybody. Panchakoshatiitaha
Panchakoshatiitaha
san
san
avasthatraya sakshi
avasthatraya sakshi
Satchidananda Swarupaha
Satchidananda Swarupaha
san yastisthati
Yastisthati
sa atma.
Sa atma.
Okay. So what I'm going to try is I will unmute a couple of people. Hem, go ahead and unmute yourself. And Mohini, I have unmuted yourself. So just to get some feedback and see, this is a bit artificial environment, right? I think you all understand that.
Yeah.
I also feel a little, having used to teaching and looking at students in the class and engaging with them one-on-one, and this is a little different. So I don't get to hear feedback. So sometimes even a cough, somebody coughing in class, that's also makes the class real. Makes it real. So I miss that sometimes. So I have unmuted two of you. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So at least if some of you laugh, I'd like to hear you laughing also. All right. So the teacher here has explained is beginning to explain the question of what is Atma. Started explaining, saying this Sharira Trayat Vyatiriktaha, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha. So we saw a little bit about what that is. So the body, the Shastram divides the body into three ways. And Sthula Shariram, gross body, the visible body. Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body. Very interesting. The mind is subtle. Nobody, even no doctor in this world can point to something and say that is the mind. At best, they can point to the brain and say this is the brain. This is where all thoughts occur. This is where all cognitions happen. But where is the mind? If you ask, there is no answer to that. Now, approximately in this location is what we can say. And Sukshma Shariram also refers in this case to our sense organs. Sense organs also subtle, very subtle. Amazing how these senses function. Even though the eye is a physical organ, no doubt, the nose is a physical organ, we can see it. But the operation of the senses is very subtle. And so, the Shastram chooses to include the sense organs, the sense functions into this Sukshma Shariram. And we will get a chance to see it later. Because the student is going to ask the question, Sukshma Shariram, Kim, like that. Karana Shariram. So the Shariram, the part of me that says I am ignorant, I've done papa, I've done punya, and so on and so forth, which takes us to before our birth. All that is put under Karana Shariram. Okay, for now, this is what we will understand. And so, we said, the first part of the answer was negation. What Atma is not. Atma is not Shariratrayam. Like that he started, and we said this negation is needed when there is confusion. So we saw that. When this small girl Preeti was asking a question, Uncle, what is a walker? She was not confused about the walker. She was completely ignorant about the walker. Okay, ignorance, complete ignorance. So all she needed was to point to something and say, this is walker. And over, finished. She got it and she can move. But when there is confusion, like when the person after attending the program did not know who the mayor was and he was completely confused. And when I couldn't explain, I couldn't point to a particular person and say that person is mayor because there were no clear signifying attributes. She was a woman, no doubt, but I couldn't say she was tallest person. I couldn't say she was spoke in a particular way, nothing. So I had to identify people who had some qualities, who had attributes. This male, that female who sang like that, they had attributes, and I negated all those people. And finally he understood, oh, I now got it, who is the mayor. So negation is important in this case, where there is confusion also, because in this case, this person thinks he knows the mayor. And here I think I know who I am. I'm very clear about it. And in fact, that I even tell people, hey, you don't know anything about me. You don't know what all I went through. All this we say, it shows very clearly. If you knew me, you wouldn't ask this question. Like this we tell people. So, see, our life is so important to us, so personal. Our experiences are also important. So, that kind of I needs to be told who I am not. So, this much we saw. So, now the second part of the answer is Panchakoshatitaha San. So we will give a quick introduction to Panchakosha. So some of you have already studied that when you studied Bhagavad Gita, etc. So it is another model of looking at ourselves. When this Shariratrayam, when this threefold body is looked at in the form of experiences, then what we get is Panchakosha. The first experience of my relating to the physical body. So I say I am tall, I say I am short, I say I am dark, I say I am fair. When I say all this, I am referring to the features of the physical body. You all know that. So therefore that aspect, keep that in mind for now. The exterior aspect of the body. Then I say, after I have that dialogue, I immediately say, oh, I am hungry now. I am hungry. I am not tall or short or anything. I am hungry. I am thirsty. Please get me a glass of water. I am thirsty. Oh, I am thirsty. You are thirsty. I thought you were Jayakumar. You are not Jayakumar. You are thirsty. Yeah, I am thirsty now. You can call me thirsty. So, yeah, I am thirsty. I am hungry. And I say, I am not well. Now I am well. Now I am better. I am healthy. I am unhealthy. I am sick. So look at these statements. I am sick, etc. So there the I is placed where? Is it placed on the external body? Is it one of the features of the body? Hunger is not a feature of the body. Hunger is further internal, not visible to the naked eye. And we can say it is the physiological system. So from anatomy, we have gone to physiology, correct? So look at that. Without using the word physiology, our rishis have identified that certain functions which can be referred to by something, something else. So we will give names to it now in a short while, or we can give it now itself. The outer part, this tallness, shortness, darkness, etc., is called Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha. This second physiological functions, collective physiological functions of the body, we can say, they say it is Pranamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha. Then I say, I am confused. What did you say? I am confused. Or I say, I am sad. I am elated. I am thrilled at hearing this news. I am thrilled. So I am thrilled when I say, it has nothing to do with the anatomy. It has nothing to do with the physiology, if I can use that word. It's not a physiological function. It has, now we have come to the mind. I am talking about my emotions and the thoughts happening to this mind. And when I express myself through that experience, then I am relating myself to Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha. Then I go further. I go further and say, from that emotion, I now go to a point where I say, somebody comes to my house and says, wow, beautiful picture. Who did this? I say, I did this. I put my hand on my chest and say, I did this. So I'm proud. I am the author of this drawing, painting, and I am the doer of that. I am the author of that painting. So, who is this? Oh, that's my daughter. That's my daughter. She's studying in college now. So, mine. She is mine. She is mine. So, this, I did this. I am the author. I am the doer. She belongs to me. He belongs to me. When I say, all that is now, the Shastram says, that experience can be referred to as Vijnana Maya Kosha. Vijnana Maya Kosha. All these details will come later, remember. So we are just giving an introduction, that's all. Vijnana Maya Kosha. So then finally, I say I am ignorant. When the I is really not, the quality of I is not ignorance. And I say many things about I which come in this category called Ananda Maya Kosha. Look at that. The name is Ananda Maya Kosha. We might think Ananda, of course, is happiness. So when I say I am happy, maybe that happiness is what is represented by Ananda Maya Kosha. No, happiness, when I say I am happy, I am sad, where does it come? It comes under Manomaya Kosha. Correct? Mana, because that's an emotion. When I say I am happy, it's experiential happiness. Experiential happiness. So that's where this Ananda comes, the experiential Ananda. But here I am ignorant. And the Shastram says this is Anandamaya Kosha. We will see later why. So, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. If you look up any book, they will translate kosha as sheath, cover. Sheath means a sheet, I suppose. A cover, something like a sheet covering me. Something like this cloth is covering me. Exactly, it covers me. And so like that, something covers me. And therefore, it is called a sheath. Now, we will ask this question. We will ask the question, we will take the example of, okay, the question is the body covering me? Are my senses covering me? Is my mind covering me? Is my hunger covering me? These are the questions we have to ask. So, covering here means, so let's go to the example of table, a wooden table. Can we say the table is covering wood? Can we say table is covering wood? Can we say that? Okay. So we need to think about it. See, if the wood says I am inside the table, then we can say, okay, the table is enclosing the wood. We can say that. Does the wood say I am inside the table? Or does the wood say I am on top of the table? Or I am under the table? Okay, what can the wood say? Unfortunately, the wood cannot say any of these things because wood is everywhere. Wherever I touch, there is wood. Every part of the table is wood. Therefore, the wood cannot really hide anywhere. If the wood were to hide somewhere in the table, we can say, okay, which part it's hiding, and the wood can say, I'm having lunch in the dining hall. Please come here. That corner, the bottom right corner, that particular cubicle of the table, that's where I am. I can say that. But no, I can't say that. Because wood is all pervasive. Kahin bhi dekho, wood ही wood hai. So, therefore, likewise, here also, we have to use that, we have to bring that, invoke that, and we have to say, later on we will see that Atma is not located anywhere. And because I take myself to be the body sometimes when I say I'm tall, the next moment I place the eye somewhere else, I'm saying I'm thirsty, which is not the body. The immediate next moment I'm saying I'm thrilled, I'm depressed. I have taken my eye away from the physiological system, I put it in the mind. I keep moving this eye around in this body to different places. So it is very clear that as I associate myself with certain parts of this body, mind, sense complex. Now I'm introducing a word, body, mind, sense complex, which is this Sanghata. In Sanskrit, they use the word Sanghata to mean this particular collection of things which we simply call by saying body. And so in the Shastram, we will sometimes use the word body, mind, sense complex. Just to remind ourselves that this is not some simple thing. There is so much going on. And this is where the confusion lies. And so we pay a little attention to that. We start dissecting this body, mind, sense complex. And one way of dissecting it is Panchakosha model. It's a model. A model, as we said, is needed to help ourselves understand the reality. So the sculptor prepares a model of this Subhash Chandra Bose structure, and huge structure and model. It almost looks real. So somebody can look at it and say, okay, how about this, how about that? This jacket is, it seems a little like this. Why is that? Buttons, you have put 7 buttons. Don't you want to have 8 buttons? All these questions can arise. So model is very useful. Same thing here, Pancha Kosha model. So important. We will get to the Panchakosha model later. And Shastram is saying, the teacher here is saying, Panchakosha Titaha, San. Means Atma is not any of these koshas. That's all. So I am not the body. I am not my physiological system. Atma is not Manaha. Atma is not the intellect, if I can use the word for Vijnanamaya. Because when I say I did this, I'm talking about doership, authorship, which seems to be something special to this human being. So Shastram assigns a little extra weight to that and say, okay, fine, that is a special faculty of the mind and Vijnana. And so I am not the intellect, and I am not this, I am not ignorant also. I am not ignorance. And any of these, generally when I say something about myself, it will fall in one of these 5 koshas. Suppose I ask you, who are you? So I am an engineer. If I say, which kosha it comes under? Take a guess. I am an engineer. Which kosha, Mohiniji?
Vijnanamaya kosha.
Vijnanamaya kosha. Correct. Because body is not an engineer. My hunger, my physiological system has not accomplished anything. Mind also, when we define it as seat of emotions, that is not. So when somebody said, who did this? I did this. When I say, I did this. This degree belongs to me. I achieved it. I worked hard. I did this, did that, and I am an engineer. Vijnanamaya kosha. So generally, what about when we say, I am father? I'm the father of so-and-so, these people, this photograph. When I say, so I suppose there also we can say Vijnanamaya kosha. Where else will you put it? Because I am the creator of these people. I am part of this family. They are all belonging to me. I relate to them. So relationship means there is some ownership. This is me, this is they, and I am related to them in this way. So I have no choice but to put it in Vijnanamaya kosha. Correct? Vijnanamaya kosha. Good. So generally, whenever we talk about ourselves, when we introduce ourselves in our conversations, it will be in one of these 5 koshas. When we analyze it. And so a kosha therefore is what? And as though it is a type of experience, it is a part of this body, mind, sense complex, which I identify as myself. Okay, let me say it again. Kosha is a part of this body, mind, sense complex, with which I identify with intimately. That's it. Which I identify with intimately, thereby which comes out in statements like I am tall, I am short, I am hungry, I am sad, etc. Correct? That is called kosha. And we have to say that there are people who go around saying, this is a cover. And the minute you say cover, now what will we think? Like I put yesterday, it was raining, so I put a raincoat. So it's a cover. So now what idea we will get? We will now go away with the idea that I have to start removing these covers. First I will remove my winter jacket, then I will remove the raincoat, then I have to remove the shirt, then I have to remove the vest, and then finally this shining Atma will come out. This is the idea we will get. Correct? So right away I am telling you, this removal business is not there in Vedanta. Because I see so many people trapped in this idea. And I have to remove my Annamaya kosha. Then deep I have to dive and remove my Pranamaya kosha. Then further you dive deep within. They use this language also. Dive deep within you. And when you go to the inner recesses of your heart. Now, I don't know how to talk also. I think I should develop that nice, beautiful language. Dive deep within and closing your eyes. And then you will remove the Manomaya kosha. Don't give up. Keep diving deep within. And then this Vijnanamaya kosha will come out. You will see it coming out. Like this they talk. And it seems very credible also. Very credible when somebody talks like that. How can you say no? Because I don't know and you also don't know. And this room is filled of people who don't know anything. And people get away with murder. Poor Adi Shankara has written pages and pages of Bhashyam. And here we are talking about diving deep within and removing all these sheets of covering. There is no such covering. There is no such removal, nothing. Yeah, sheet Achadakatvat koshaha. Adi Shankaracharya says very clearly, it is like a covering. That's all he says. He doesn't say it's a cover. Look at the difference between cover and like a cover. As though, just those two words make a big difference. As though covering. As though. That's all. Achadakatvat kosha. So, there is no actual covering. I confuse myself to be this little this body, and therefore it's called a kosha. That's all it is. So otherwise it's like saying the sun is revolving around the earth, and the student, your child comes from school and says, "Mom, you know what? You know, the sun doesn't revolve around the earth. It's the earth that revolves around the sun." Mother says, "Bhaiya, are beta, really? I'm so proud of you," she says. "I'm so proud of you." And correct, that's very true. But mom, if the earth goes around the sun, we should stop the sun from rotating around the earth. We should stop it. Do something. No child says this. No teacher says that. No scientist is alarmed that, oh my God, this earth should be revolving around the sun. It's going the other way. We need to do something. Nobody says that. Point being, even this perception of the sun revolving around this earth is as though, remember these two words, as though. When we use the word as though, we can accept everything and still understand the reality behind that perception. Correct? When I say as though sun is revolving around the earth, then it becomes very clear. There is no need to deny the perception. There is no need to be alarmed by the perception. The perception is also explained by the same teacher who teaches that the earth is revolving around the sun. And the intelligent student asks, "Teacher, if the earth is revolving around the sun, why do I see the sun revolving around the earth? Why do I get that experience?" Then it is the job of the teacher to explain that. Correct? Yes, that is how it is. Then he can give some examples. He can talk about the railway station. And did you ever go into the train and feel like the platform was moving? Yes, I felt it. Does the platform move? No, teacher, the platform doesn't move. Yeah, then why is the platform moving? Why is the platform moving? That's because, yeah. So now the student understands very clearly. Relative motion is understood, and so problem solved. There is no need to stop any of these experiences. And therefore, this experience of hunger is there. This experience of health, ill health, and tallness, shortness, and all is there. But as long as it is understood as though means what? It is a property of the body, and it doesn't have to be my property. I am much bigger than this body. I am so different from this body. That is what I am trying to understand. And so let the body be. Let the body be. That is its Vishesha. It will have some qualities, attributes. And all stuff can happen to the body. Beard is, I say, I am bearded. What I am bearded? The body, some Ishwar ne aisa kya karenge? And so, yeah, so all these things happen. And so let it be. Let the body be the way it is. And the body can take on any shape, color, and form. And so we are not worried about that. Correct? So as though, that's all. We have to remember this as though. This Vedanta is about as though. Very important. Very crucial also. So that we don't get trapped in this yoga world. Yoga world means some yoga classes, some yoga teachers and all I've spoken to. And they also get trapped in this thing. Because this lack of Vedanta, so I find that this yoga teachers need to study Vedanta. Without Vedanta, they take yoga in a different direction completely. I don't know what kind of experience you have. So yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, so beautiful and so powerful, and this India is we're all blessed to have this jnanam and get spoiled, because for them yoga, Patanjali yoga is the end in itself, and they can't see beyond that. So they keep using these kinds of things. You think like this and remove the koshas, remove that kosha, remove this kosha. And remove, and the student comes after 10 years, 20 years and asks the question, teacher, I've been doing this meditation for the last 20 years, I still have not removed any kosha. Why? Of course you can't remove any kosha. This is the problem. Removing the kosha idea is the problem. Okay, we're going to leave that aside. Just I'm sensitizing all of you to all these problems you will see out there. Okay. Panchakoshatitaha san. Panchakoshatitaha. Atma is other than Panchakosha. Other than any of these Panchakoshas. Good. Next, the teacher says, Avastha Traya Sakshi san. Okay. Another beautiful model. In revealing Atma, in unfolding Atma, the Shastram uses, I told you last time, some methodologies. And the methodology is called Prakriya. If you remember, I used the word Prakriya. Just recalling that. So these are all Prakriyas also. So Shariratraya Prakriya, Panchakosha Prakriya, now Avasthatraya Prakriya. So there are Upanishads that emphasize one or more of these Prakriyas. Avasthatraya Prakriya, Mandukya Upanishad, there is an Upanishad called Mandukya, which is part of the Atharvana Veda, and it uses the Avasthatraya Prakriya to unfold Atma. What is this Avasthatraya Prakriya? So, Avastha means again an experience, a threefold experience Shastram talks about. There is the waking state, experience of the waking state. Then there is the experience of the, shall we say, dream state. And then there is the experience of the dreamless, deep sleep state. So, Jagrad Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and Sushupti Avastha. These are the three avasthas. Jagrad Avastha, Swapna Avastha, dream state, dream experience, and Sushupti Avastha, which is a deep sleep experience, deep sleep state experience. And so it is very clear that at any given moment in our life, we are in one of these states of experience. We are either awake or we are sleeping very peacefully, completely completely lost to the world, or we are in our own internal world. We are a part of a dream. We have that dream experience. So either I have the waking experience, or I have the dream experience, or I have no experience. No experience, almost no experience. So what does the Shastram say? The Shastram says, ask the question, am I waker? Then I become sleeper. Then I become the dreamer. So is my identity just changing during the day like this? Or I am something else other than the sleeper, waker, and dreamer? Shastram says you are none of those. You are neither sleeper nor waker nor. not dreamer. You're neither of these things. You are what? You're avasthatraya sakshi. I am the witness to these states of experiences, if I can say. These states of experience. Okay. I am awake when I say, when I associate with this experience of waking, then I say I am awake. But this being awake or being not awake is not a property of Atma. Shastram says, therefore, yeah, there is the waking experience, but you are not the waker. There is the deep sleep experience, but you are not the deep sleeper. And there is the dream experience, you are not the dreamer. That's what the Shastram says. It gives us a clue. So therefore, Atma is what? Atma is sthula sukshma karana sharirat vyatiriktaha, other than the gross, subtle and causal bodies. Then it is panchakosha atitaha. It is other than these as though covers, which are also states of experience. And it is avasthatraya sakshi. Atma is a witness to these three states of experience. Now, the teacher is giving the definition of Atma, as it were. So far he said what Atma is not. And now he says, the teacher says, Satchidananda Swarupa San, he says. So, when we say definition, so a definition of an object, of a thing, should only reveal that thing. Correct? Should only reveal that thing. That is when this thing can be called a definition. It cannot reveal other objects, other things also, which I don't want included, which I don't want to be defined. So if I say, a human being is any animal with two legs, if I say, then we have a slight problem because, yeah, human being has two legs, all right, accepted. But all these birds I see also have two legs. Crow also has two legs, but crow is not a human being. Therefore, any animal that has two legs cannot be a definition. Cannot be a definition for human being. It can be a definition for something else, but not for human being. Okay. Then the definition should also use minimum number of words, minimum number of descriptors. Correct? So suppose we define this human being as somebody who has two legs, two hands that operate, and a mind that functions, that thinks, and that has an evolved intellect which analyzes, which is rational, which is never seen in any other animal, and who has the ability to stand straight. So this erect stance is there. All this, if we say, immediately the human being is defined. Because there is no animal in this world that has these characteristics. Even if you say gorilla and chimpanzee, they are able to stand, but they don't have the mind that I just described to you. Therefore, this definition becomes unique. Let's say this is a good definition of the human. Now, to this definition, you can't say, and drinks water and eats fruits. Suppose I say, yeah, drinks water, human being does drink water, human being eats fruits, no doubt. But it's unnecessary because already you have defined human being. You don't need to say breathers and all that. We already said living being. So breathing is already included. Having food and water is already included. So we can't have redundant words like and drinks water and that and so on. So redundancy should not be there in a definition. So this Satchidananda is that kind of a definition which aptly describes Atma. Which of course the author is going to explain further later. But we need some background which we are going to talk about now. Okay. So in the answer that the teacher gave, the first portion was what Atma is not. And the second portion is what Atma is. The first portion negates what Atma is not. The second portion reveals what Atma is. And we have seen that negation is important because there is confusion. Negation happens to be very important. And then revelation has to occur. So after all the negation is done, the words that reveal Atma will work wonders. So both are important for us. Okay. So let's begin some analysis, simple analysis here. To begin with, there are two things in this world. What are the two things? There is I exist. I am a being, a conscious being. And then there is all these things around me, which I can call the world. I can even say universe, whatever word you want, we can use. There is me, and then there is everything else that I perceive. And including things that are far away, planets in the solar system, galaxies that are there, everybody is there. Devatas, what about Agni Devata, Varuna Devata, etc. Yeah, everything. I am not that, so everything is part of that world. Now, how do you know there is a world? If I ask the question, what do you mean world you are saying? How do you know there is a world? Yeah, I know there is a world because these things are becoming known to me. I am the observer of this thing, these things, and they become evident to me. They become known to me. If nothing is known to me, I can't point to something and say that is the world, that's an object. Whenever I point to something and say that's an object, that object has already revealed to myself. That object has become known to me. And therefore, I say that is an object. And I point to so many things in this world outside me and say, here is an object, here is an object, here is an object. Everything I see is an object which has become known to me. And therefore, I collect all these things and I put it in a bucket and I call it, this is the world. So, when any of us says, that is an object, that is a fan, that is a house, and that is a tree, that is a flower, that's a fruit. If somebody says, that fruit has become known to that person. So we can say, I am the knower. Everything else that's out there is known. I am the knower. Everything else out there is known. It's part of this category called known. Known, an object is known to me, and I am the knower of the object. Okay. So what about the fan? The fan is known to me. What about my own child? No, my own child is also known to me. The child, which I say, is so intimately connected to me, so intimately that if something happens to my child, something happens to me. I am almost inseparate from this child, non-separate from this child. My child, my baby. Yes, even though I am so intimately connected to my baby, still that baby is known to me. And so that baby is part of the world. I am the knower, the baby is the known. Correct? However intimately tied I am to that thing. This house belongs to me. I am in Coimbatore, the house I own is somewhere else. So like Ashutosh is in Austin. Is my house, I own a house in Austin. It is not even in this country, it is somewhere else in the other country. And my heart, half of my heart is there because that is part of me. That is my real estate. I put it in I report it to the US government and use the Indian government. And I better report it. There are people who don't report anything and they run away to this Antigua and all these places. And we don't even know that there is a country called Antigua until we hear it. We have to thank these people called this Choksi and all these people for coming up with all these names. I don't know how they figured out all this. Antigua. And there they're offering for $200,000 you give, you will become a citizen of this country. For these people, this $200,000 is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. And he becomes a citizen of a country. I'm surprised he's not a king of a country. My question is, how come he's not a king of a country? He's only a citizen? He must purchase these islands. And he must be a king. He must be running a government. He must be changing the constitution of these countries. I'm surprised that is not happening. Anyway, so my heart is out there. And so what about that house that is mine? So close to me, it's part of me, but still that house also is an object. It's known to me. I am the knower. That house is known. Okay. This much we appreciate. Then we ask the question, wait a minute. What about so many things in this world that are unknown to me? If you ask me what is known and list all the things that are known, I can list. But the number of things that are unknown to me is just way too much. There are 7 billion people in this world. I know only a few people. I can list the people I know. It can be what? It can be 100, it can be 1,000. Okay, it can be 10,000. People, famous people and people who relate to many people on a daily basis may know a million people. Amazing, you know what? Some of our acharyas, swamis, they interact with people on a daily basis. And they look at somebody and they will say, this is how I've seen Swamiji interacting. They'll say, Vapa, how come we haven't seen you in a long time? Okay. How come we haven't seen you in a long time? Okay, that's fair enough. Each of them know that they have not seen each other. So that statement seems okay. Then he says, how's your mother doing? Is she better now? Swamiji met this person 3 years ago. This only once. And he talked about the mother who had a very serious disease. And he was concerned. And Swamiji gave some tips. And this the Swamiji remembers. Like this, he relates to people. People, and that person forgot. That person forgot this meeting where he met Swamiji and all, but the Swamiji remembers, remember we met in Rishikesh. That also Swamiji reminds. And he knows the person's relatives, mother, father, children and all that. That kind of memory, I even don't want to call it memory, because memory fails. And sometimes you look at these people and they don't seem to have a failing memory. And so I don't know what kind of Shakti it is. So therefore, why I said all this, what we don't know is a lot more than what we know. How can you run away from here saying the known is the universe? In fact, I don't know anything about the universe. What I know of the universe is only a small little thing. A few people I know, a few things I know. Okay, some geography I learned, so I know planets, this, that. Even the planet, what? I have not seen the earth from outside the earth. Did I see the earth? That also I can't see. Oh, I went on a plane and I can only see, even from there, I can only see a small portion of the earth. So what do you mean I know something? I know so little. What about all these things that are unknown? Yes. Shastram says, what is unknown to you can be potentially known. Potentially known. So it is knowable. It comes under the category of knowable. You may not know now, but you can come to know later. And even if you don't ever come to know it, that is fine. It's part of the world. It's an object that can be known, and therefore it comes under the category of known, comes under the category of this world, comes under the category of this non-I. So how many things are there in this world? In this analysis, there is I and there is not I. There is knower and there is known. So in Kenopanishad, one Upanishad is there. I'll finish shortly. In Kenopanishad, the student is asking the question, Kene shitam patati preshitam manaha. That's how the Upanishad starts. Starts with the word Kena. And that's why this Upanishad also is called Kenopanishad. Look at that. Called after the first word that starts the Upanishad of Kena. Kena ishitam patati preshitam manaha. The student is asking, oh teacher, hey, this mind is falling on so many objects. Is there somebody behind the mind that is willing, making me will, and making the mind fall on those objects? This is the question the student has. And goes on like that, and immediately the teacher answers somewhere in this third verse, I think. Anyadeva viditat. He talks about Atma. And Atma says, yes, there is somebody like that behind the mind. And Anyadeva viditat. Atma is other than what is known. Anyat. What is known? Anyat. Other than what is known. Atho aviditat athi. And other than what is not known to you also. What is not known to you? So when you say known and not known, essentially the entire universe is covered. Is it not? Is it not? There are only two things in this world. Known or unknown. That's all. That covers the entire universe over. I don't have to. I don't know what I heard black hole and I don't know what the black hole is. Yeah, that's okay. Put it in the category of avididat. Aviditam. Aviditam. Okay. So that is how we have said I is there, the not I is there, the knower is there, the known is there. So we will stop with that and pick up the thread from here and see where that journey takes us. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahisha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini देशोऽयं
यं
क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु
सन्तु
निर्भयाः।
निर्भयाः
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः,
निरामयाः
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित्
कश्चित्
दुःखभाग्
दुःखभाग्
भवेत्।
भवेत्
असतो मा सद्गमय,
सद्गमय
तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय,
ज्योतिर्गमय
मृत्योर्मा अमृष्टं
अमृतं
गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य
पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।